Hi everyone, this is Penny Rumsey. I am a homeschool mom of 5 kids, and I am a recovering perfectionist and the author of From Darkness to Light. I wanted to share with you a little bit of a message today that came from a question that someone asked last night in the webinar with Joseph Menke. If you didn't get a chance to see that, go ahead and watch the recording. It's awesome. He taught some great principles. He is an up and coming speaker, presenter that I've been working with, and he's doing amazing things, and he has a great, big, huge message. So just wanted to give him kudos and say great job. So I'm a warrior that works with warriors that have a message stuck inside of them, because my mess is my message. And that's the journey that I have been through and what I want to help other people do. I've learned things intuitively over the last 10 years that I am still finding words to express. And as I work through each day, I find more and more clarity about what those words are and how to share them. So I deeply desire that you will be able to get the message inside of your heart. And I want the truth to grow inside of you so that when you see it and hear it, you are able to recognize it and know it. Just thinking about that this morning, how powerful it is when we hear something and we understand part of it, but you know, every time we hear it, it just grows the roots deeper and deeper down into our heart that we're truly able to understand. And that is my desire for you, that you truly do understand and you're able to see in your life how to implement the things that you want to do to be able to make your life better and grow from darkness to light. So I wanted to teach you today something that I learned this morning. It was seriously awesome. So last night there was this question and I'm like, I'm not sure I know the answer to that or the words. I didn't know the words to express what I thought about it or believed about it in my mind and my heart. So it was awesome because last night I went to bed with a question and this morning I woke up and there was a class, and wouldn't you know it, they taught the answer to it in this class. So I wanted to share with you a little bit about that principle that I learned in the class. So this is a class, it's called Ready to Rise, and it's just phenomenal. I will give a link to the website. I think it's Ready for Wholeness is the name of the website. But the principle is about vertical alignment and about opening the space that you are able to receive light and information and revelation. So I remember being in a class with 3 Key Elements, Kirk Duncan, about 10 years ago. And I remember feeling like there was this pinhole of a tiny little light, like he was talking about a conduit, and a space that was above your head that was how big that you could receive light and information. And I'm like, I remember feeling like it was this little tiny, and I'm like, I want it to be bigger. I want it to grow and grow and grow. And so I know how painful that is when you feel like that space is small and how much you want that to grow bigger. And I want truly for you to be able to have that open up. And so the steps to do that are, number 1, through awareness. And I wish I had a visual for you, but I just have my crazy notes that I took this morning. Number 1, awareness. Number 2, that you, that you understand the old story and the new story. And we're going to walk through these. I'm trying to make this as short, as powerful as possible, but as long as is needed, as they told me to in my old English class. So the old story and the new story. And then number 1 is the old story. Okay, hold on, let me start over. Your first step is awareness, and that's what I'm doing today, is showing you the awareness picture of what maybe you haven't seen before, or maybe you have seen before, but maybe just explain it in a little bit different way that you might not have seen it before. So we're going to talk about the old story and the new story, and then after you find your new story, you decide what you want. And then so that's number 3, decide what you want. And number 4, you ask God for help for whatever you desire to create. Usually that's the one next step that you're asking for. What's the one next step I need to do to fulfill this desire that I have in my heart? What's the one next thing? And then number 5 is to use your power levels to declare it. So we're going to walk through these. So that would be like seeing it and saying it and hearing it. So, so number 1, let's just walk through explaining the old story and the new story. So the tool that she taught us is to get a piece of paper, you put a stick figure in the middle with a circle around it. And you write all of the things that are your old story, the things that caused you pain, the things that hurt, the things that you don't like. When you complain to someone, all of those things that you complain about, what are those things that are hurting you? And truly they are in your heart and they're stopping you from being able to become who you want to be able to create what you want to create. So for me, that was feeling like there was a lot of pressure and feeling like I wasn't good enough to be able to do what I wanted to do, that I didn't have the value or the acceptance of the people around me, you know, going horizontal. I didn't have that acceptance from the people around me in my life, that I hadn't yet learned to connect with God's power, God's belief in me, God's alignment for what he wanted for me. So that's what I had to do in that process, is I had to go to God and I had to say, what do you feel about me? And I had an amazing transformational experience through that question. So that was my next step at that point when I was feeling all of that pain. So the tool is to write out all of those things that are causing you pain on that piece of paper. So that's your old story. And then you take a new story or the back of the paper that you had already done and write a new person with the stick figure and then your circle. And then inside of that circle, all of the things that you want to create. Now, there is a bridge. There is a bridge from the old story to the new story that you might feel like in your old story, if you haven't been validated enough emotionally that someone truly understands you, then you're not going to be able to feel like you have the oxygen to be able to cross the bridge. And you're going to keep complaining about this old story and the things that are wrong in the past. So hopefully you have someone in your life that can understand that and create that safe space for you. And I do want to refer you, if there has been a trauma situation in your life that you feel like you can't cross this bridge by yourself, I'm available as a mentor. I know there's other people. I have a network of mentors that we are helping people to go from this, you know, the whole process from darkness to light. But the biggest thing I would say right now, if there is a specific trauma situation, the gal this morning in the class in Ready for Wholeness, she said that there's a wholehearted class, not a class, but like a mentoring session where she teaches you how to walk it out. And I don't know what that looks like exactly, but I know that they have the tools. I understand this stuff well enough to be able to know truth when I hear it and know the effectiveness of what will work to transform the heart. So I truly believe that she has answers in how to help you overcome this if you have a trauma situation and not able to go from the old story to the new story. So if you can work through this on your own and go from the old story to the new story, then the bridge process is being validated in the old story, accepting it, understanding it, and saying, okay, you're looking at the pain and you're saying, I don't want this anymore. This isn't something I want to keep living. And then you're saying, okay, let's change. Let's shift my focus from darkness over to light so that I can then create a new story. So then that's a new piece, the new paper. You write out all of your pieces of what you do want to create. So there is a desire in your heart. And I believe that comes from your mission and the seeds of greatness that are planted within you, that's who you imagine in the back of your mind that you want to become or the things that you want to do. So all of those little pieces are the desires in your heart. So write them out on that paper. If you want to become like a certain hero, or if you want to have a certain feeling in your heart, or just the different things that you imagine that you want to do. Write all of those things out in that new story circle. Okay, so that is seeing it and hearing it and saying it. So how do you go from seeing it? So you're actually, you're taking it out of your brain, you're putting it onto paper so you can see it, and then you want to take it to the next step and say it. So this takes you, okay, so we went through step number 3, deciding what you want. You go from, you know, the darkness to the light. And then number 4 is asking God for help. So as you're doing that, the new story, have a prayer in your heart, your higher power, that you're truly asking him, help me to believe this new story. And that opens up the conduit space for that light to come down and to change the belief in your heart. And this has been honestly the hardest thing for me. She said the greatest journey that you're ever going to make is the 12 inches from your head to your heart. And I'm like, oh, that's so true. And I feel like recently that is connecting for me. And that is why I feel like all this light is coming out of me, is because of that journey that I've been able to make. So, so asking God while you're doing that new story, and then to say it, you want to declare it. So this looks like there's a word in there. What's one of my words? Message. So message. I am the message, or I am being full of light, or I am love. So the things that you want to be, you imagine that they are yours. You put them in your space. You feel them in your heart. You see them in your mind. And even like with music, I love to add music to this piece that you could add to your hearing. All of these are the input methods that our body receives new information. Fill all of those different input methods into the thing that you want to believe about yourself. And if there is a challenge in all the things, all the goals, the things that you're trying to create right now in your life, I would invite you to consider that the reason why that you can't get those things out there that you're trying to get is because in here, you don't believe you really can. You don't believe that you're the person that can get that thing that you want to get. So when you align all of these pieces of your mind and your heart and your soul, you're all totally aligned, that's what opens up the conduit. Your spirit, your body, all of those things are opened. And then you have full power to create in your life the thing that you want to create and manifest. So I think that has gotten like some really great stuff today. I appreciate you listening. And so that's the principle. So how to apply this is in review, do your old story and your new story. Write out the yuck, write out the yum, and figure out what you want to create. And if, like I mentioned, if you do want some help on this, I am definitely available to help mentor you through that. I have a book me on my page, and you're certainly welcome to book a time to talk. We could do a free 1-hour session, and then we'll make a plan for you about how this will work for you in moving forward into implementation. So let's see, what's the last thing? Invite you, talked about the principle, talked about the old and new, talked about ready for wholeness. Okay, so then the last thing is just inviting you to apply. So, so in my book, when I just got done writing, it's on Amazon, you could check it out. It's called From Darkness to Light. And in that book, it talks about a pattern of learning. So sometimes in our lives, we get so confused about all of the different things that we need to do or decisions that we need to make. And I have recently been intuitively taught a map that shows what to do, when to do it, why to do it, all of the things that organize your thinking into seeing things clearly. And at the root of that is what you need to do today, what you need to do right now to take your next step. And in my book, I talk about the pattern of learning, applying, and sharing. And this is truly the transformational journey that the heart and mind go through as you're trying to go from maybe a low vibration, a low level energy place into a high vibe space. When you're up leveling into a new place, for me, it's just this cyclical pattern of learn, apply, share. And if you can just trust this one thing from the last 10 years of my life, this is the best thing that I have to give you, seriously, just this one thing. today. You learn something, you apply something, and you share something. That will take you from being stuck in your mind and your heart into getting your flow going. So it's seriously transformational. If you stay with me, we're going to keep learning more about it. Principles get deeper and deeper into your heart. The more that you think about them, the more that you hear them in repetition. That is one thing I truly loved about my dance training. I studied dance at BYU and all through high school and stuff. And in my ballet classes, I hated ballet, but the one thing that was really good about it was the repetition. And we're sitting there, you know, holding our body and, you know, thinking about all of the little tweaks that we have to do. Okay, is my back straight? Are my legs, all the different alignment things that we had to go through to make sure that we were having the right technique. But we did that over and over and over and over again. And pretty soon our body gained the body memory to be able to keep our bodies in alignment when we didn't have to work so hard to think about it. So that's truly what this is about transformation, about doing it over and over again until it's in your subconscious, until it's in your heart and your mind, and you're able to be on a new level. You're able to live on a new level and increase your vibration, increase your joy, increase your light. And this is helping you to go from a place where you feel stuck to a place where you can create for yourself the life that you want to have. So I'm so excited to join this journey with you. I invite you to join me on my webinar next Monday, the July 27th. And we're going to be talking more about this tree and more about these principles and what and when and how and all of that stuff. It could help you with homeschool, but there are other applications that can help you with as well. So I'm excited to talk to you next Monday. And if you do have any questions about anything that we've talked today, please post them in the comments or reach out to me on a private message. I am, like I said, learning still to be able to give the message of the things that I've learned intuitively and get those words to come out of my heart. So the more that you keep asking, the more that you're going to help me to be able to clarify what it is that I'm trying to say. So thanks so much for listening. Love connecting with you. Have an awesome day. Bye-bye.